Yeah, we needed a Cajun fix, guys. So coming up next, we're going to show you this alligator sausage shrimp stew over grits. Yes, I had alligator sausage and it was marvelous. Found a local shop down in Lowell, Mass that sold some to us, so let's see what we used it for. For that recipe, head on over to kcknh.com. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Now, I realize this might not be for everyone, however, you gotta try it. See if you can get your hands on some alligator sausage in andouille style. And the nice part about this dish is I used exactly what was on hand. Quite often, whether it's Cajun or Creole, they do use some amazing ingredients. And here we're just taking it very simple, guys. We're doing the Holy Trinity. All Southern cooking is really something you do need the Holy Trinity for. There's just no way around it. The Holy Trinity is bell peppers, celery, and onions. Typically, there is a ratio you should follow, but I don't listen to rules. I had so many fresh veggies that I was like, screw it, I'm just going to do it. So this is not the same as mirepoix. Mirepoix uses the carrot instead of the green bell peppers. But with Southern cooking, whether you're doing Cajun or Creole, Holy Trinity is definitely one of those you must do. Otherwise, the meal tastes like shit, to be truthful with you. You just got to do the right thing. Now, one of the things that sucks for my region is seafood is wicked expensive right now. I'm airing this in April of 2024. I did have some small shrimp available that I could afford. Now, I do love the freshness of what corn straight off the cob will do for any dish, regardless of country of origin or state of origin. If you have fresh corn on the cob, get the corn. Please do it. You'll love it. So we're just doing a simple knife cut to get this all into a bowl. I only used 2 ears of corn for this, all at 50 cents. Yeah, that was cheaper than half the seafood I have. So just make sure you break up the corn into your bowl here. And as usual, when I'm prepping dinner, I put everything into small containers so I can bring that over to the stove. It's just easier for me to be able to do that. That's called mise en place. So with that, we're also making sure we're using a heavy share of garlic. I always recommend fresh over the jarred stuff. You want fresh, you want the best flavors possible without the chemical shitstorm that jarred garlic gives. But use what you can afford, guys. It's all up to you. So I'm going to go a little garlic happy with this. And now we're working with that alligator andouille sausage. Gorgeous color. You can smell the beautiful spices out of this thing. And it does have some pork in it, which is even nicer. Nice meaty texture that you're going to get. And you don't have to use a lot of seasoning in this dish because the sausage is going to give you a lot of the flavor you need. So go ahead and make sure you get that sliced as even as possible. And get that off to a container. Now, one of the things I will certainly say, when you're going for cheese, save some money and get the block of cheese. Shred it on your own, guys. It tastes so much better and you don't have to worry about clumpy messes. Now, I like a little bit of freshness going into the batch as well as a garnish using some scallions. I had a whole bunch left over and it was a perfect dish for me to be able to use up what I had. And just put it onto a container or in this case, I actually will take a soup container's lid. Sometimes it's like the perfect carryover to the stove. Now, typically you can go for rice, but my husband wanted grits, so I'm doing an oven cook method for the grits so I can concentrate on cooking the stew on top of the stove. So just follow the package directions of your favorite brand of grits. I'm using beef stock in mine. You could certainly use whatever you want. My beef stock here has got a lot of flavor, and that's coming from my private stock that was already made. Of course, use your judgment. Just realize the commercial stocks out there can be a salt lick, even for the less sodium varieties. And I love putting in cheddar cheese. Don't care who you are, cheese makes everything awesome. So we're only putting in just enough. We're going to mix that up. And into an oven, I actually set this up for 350. I covered this with some foil and I let the oven do the work for me. I did this up to about 35 minutes and I checked it after. I more than likely had to add another 5 minutes cooking time onto the grits, but that's okay. So in a medium pot, of course, depending upon how much you're making, of course, I had a medium-sized pot. Now for a dark roux, we're going with predominantly oil and butter, and I've got a cup of flour going in. Now one of the things I have to tell you about roux making with Southern cuisine, some dishes use a blonde roux, some use medium, some use dark. Now I'm aiming for dark roux, so that means I gotta babysit this. I'm not walking away. I've got medium-low heat because I want to control this. That's why I put a little bit of butter into this. And you are going to be stirring like a crazy person. I always have a whisk as well as a rubber spatula nearby. And ultimately, you are going to be stirring this for quite some time. And through the video here, you're going to see some color changes. And that's exactly what we want to see, the graduation of colors. This is going to darken. If you just let it go, it's going to burn. So I'm using my rubber spatula to make sure nothing has a chance to be able to burn on the bottom. We want to be constantly stirring this so we can achieve beautiful color and nothing burns on you. And trust me, I've worked with line cooks who had no idea how fast this can turn. So my advice to you is if you have little kids, get them out of the kitchen, have someone else watch them. And you really need to pay attention to this. You can see the bottom of my pan is nice and clean as I stir through that with the spatula. And I'm going to go back to whisking here. And we're coming through here with a darker color. And I'm seeing that this is coming together beautifully. I know that the flour is still going to be needing to cook down even further for the color I'm trying to achieve. And you will need to consider switching off on your tools. Unless, of course, you've got someone who can stand in and take over to give your arm a break. Just be like me. I just power through it. So spatula work again, I can see this is cooking beautifully. Nothing's burning. Nothing's sitting on the pan, which is perfect. And we're getting a darker color as we go. Time frame is really, I've had some that takes 20 minutes, I've had some that takes 30 minutes. Really depends upon your time and temperature control. That's why you want to go medium-low. You could do it on low, but you'd be stirring forever. But medium-low is the happy place for this. Now with the next video feed that's coming up, you're going to see a much darker color. Look at the gorgeous color, people. When you've achieved that dark chocolate brown, go ahead and hit your Holy Trinity into this. This is perfect. Like right here, this color is gorgeous. I'm tossing in a couple of bay leaves. It is a great flavor enhancer. Of course, eventually those will come out when you're done cooking. But you definitely put 2 bay leaves in and add your garlic. Continue to stir this like a crazy person, guys. You could still burn this, so you don't want to do that. Now I'm adding my alligator sausage to this. We're going to get the heat onto that. And eventually we're going to add our corn to this. I love the flavor of corn. It's got that hint of sweet. And who doesn't love fresh corn? Like, farm stands are going to be starting to plant their stuff if they haven't already up here where I live. So I'm really looking forward to more farm stand stuff. Now for the spices, I've kept it simple because that andouille sausage is going to have its own flavor profile. Andouille always has a lot of spices. I'm using things like thyme, smoked paprika, chili, kosher salt, black pepper, and granulated onion. There's not a lot that's really going into this, guys, but it's going to be up to you on how far you want to take your seasonings. So start with a couple of pinches, mix it in, and you should start smelling the aroma coming through. Now, eventually, we're going to add gradually I'm using beef stock. You can use chicken stock, you can use vegetable stock, whatever floats your boat. But I have so much beef stock on hand, it's easy for me to just use that. At this point, remember you're working with a roux. That roux is going to help thicken this base, but not by much, which is perfect. That's another thing you have to consider. You want to make sure it doesn't thicken too much, otherwise you're going to need a little bit more fluid. And we're doing a stew-like consistency. Now I've adjusted my seasonings partway. You did see a spoon come in here. I always keep a cup of spoons on the side when I know I got a taste test as I go. I'm testing it out to make sure I have enough of the kosher salt and black pepper in. And plus I want to make sure I'm not over seasoning because the andouille sausage is going to help you out. So I'm taking a look and making sure everything is coming together. It's coming through beautifully. And this color, guys, honestly, dark chocolate colored roux. It is sinful. It's delicious. So now, at the last minute, we're going to add our shrimp. These were pre-cooked, recently thawed. It's not going to take long to come up to temperature here. And at this point, you can shut off the heat because you certainly don't want to overcook this. The beauty of this is a little goes a long way. Now you don't have to have rice, you don't have to have grits. Some people love this as is. They start dunking biscuits in it. But when it's all said and done, we put this over our grits and take a look at what it looks like. Look at the gorgeous colors here. And we've got this all set up, some of those scallions for garnish. Guys, there's so much flavor in this. I hope you will try this recipe. Thanks for joining me. I always appreciate you guys. Take care and happy cooking.